Good morning, good morning, good morning. Tis Monday. Check 1 2 1 2.
Check this thing on.
Oh, okay, yeah. Music's playing. We're having some issues, so
Can you hear
that's
me?
what I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
And but you can't hear any music.
Nope. Nor can I see
Hmm.
you.
Nor can you see me.
Yeah, usually your screen's on the left side under mine.
We got some issues here this Monday, 22nd of 2023. Can you see
Yeah,
me
I see
now?
you now. Yes, I do. Hey.
Oh, well, you could. So you were seeing this before and talking about you can't see me?
Usually I see you on the left
Oh,
under my screen. I don't see anything.
problems. We got some problems this morning, y'all.
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, I wonder. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry about all the confusion here. Obviously, we're not getting sound coming through on some channels. Yeah.
Can y'all hear?
What is going on this morning? We're having some technical difficulties, obviously, y'all. Let us know if you're out there. Hit us in the chat. I see people. I see people in watching, but now I'm not seeing the chat. Now I'm worried that the chat is tripping.
Ah, okay. Judy Prince are coming through. She says, I can hear you.
Oh,
Okay.
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 Thank you,
Okay.
Judy. I appreciate that very much.
Hello. Anyone out there?
And I thought it was just the radio channel tripping. So if you're listening on the radio channel, please let us know if you listen, if you can hear, if you heard music, or if you can hear us. Shoot us some feedback on that as well. Appreciate it very much if you would do that. Tamika Johnson says, "Good morning on YouTube." Okay, cool. You
Okay.
guys are
Okay.
there. Appreciate that very much. Good. Let me play some music real quick and see if you guys hear this. Can you hear this? Don't hear any music.
Yeah, I
Appreciate you,
don't either.
Tamika Johnson. I tell you what. Well, we're
It's
gonna start
always
the show.
something.
It is, especially on a Monday. Welcome,
Man,
First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
in the morning.
Buddy, just gonna have to sing for you since we ain't got no music playing here. I'll
Me, me, me,
beatbox.
me,
I'll
me.
beatbox. Monday, May 22nd, 2023. Thanks for joining us on this weird little Monday morning here, and
Yeah.
apologize for the technical difficulties. Don't know what's going on. Really
What's
can't
going
call it.
on?
Really can't call it. Okay. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. So we got people coming in and letting us know what's happening. Marlon Harrison, good morning. He says, you good on it on this end. Tamika Johnson said, good morning on YouTube. Michelle Moreno, I can hear you and see you. Tamika Johnson says, I can hear you, see you, but don't hear any music in the background. Judy Princess says, no music. Michelle Moreno, no music. And
Mm.
Tamika Johnson says, sang, buddy. Sang.
Hey.
Sang.
Ooh, yeah.
What the fist got to come up when you hit that when you hit
I
that note?
feel it because I'm
Ooh,
pulling it. I'm
yeah.
pulling it from the depths.
That's some KZ and JoJo right there.
Yes,
Big
sir.
time.
Yes, sir.
Who yeah the best? Casey and JoJo or who's the other one that used to do that?
Hmm.
Cisco. Cisco used to ooh yeah all the
I
time.
mean, come on now. You gotta know Cisco got it from Casey and JoJo.
He
You
stole it.
gotta know.
He stole it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. I just got word on the radio channel. So all you hear is me. You don't hear Buddy on the radio channel. I mean, we're just all over the
Oh
place.
man,
Yeah. Yeah, this is some hot mess going on over here.
difficulties aplenty.
For sure. We're gonna keep on trying to work on it, but in the meantime, between time, we'll work on
Yeah.
the
Well,
show.
let me. I guess while you figure that out, y'all tell me how was your weekend? What'd you get into? A lot of
Yeah,
things went down over the weekend.
good idea.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So yeah, I had a pretty interesting weekend. I did make it out to the Malcolm X. There's a Malcolm X celebration out here in Atlanta. It was pretty beautiful. A
Okay.
lot of vendors, live music, things like that. It was a good time. It was a good time. So it's just a beautiful thing to see the life of Brother Malcolm, the legacy of Brother Malcolm celebrated everywhere, man. And you can really just kind of sense of how big of an impact he had.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely shout out to everyone that put that together, both in Atlanta and Omaha. Again, let me know if you made it out to the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation, the grounds for the festivities over the weekend. Again, saw some pictures. Big shout out to Shamari Huggins, brother Stevens, for putting that play together, the meeting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Of
I'm
course,
sorry I messed
brother
up.
Kasim got the award. That's a nice. I don't know if you saw the picture of
Yeah.
his trophy. It's a big X golden X trophy. It looks pretty nice, man. Looks pretty nice, man.
Very nice, very nice. I'm glad they're venturing into that type of thing, man. Really uplifting what's going on in the community and and shining some light. That's what we're
Oh
trying to
yeah,
do over here on, especially with the BAA and those guys. Really shine some light. They're the ones that are making the difference, especially with the feet on the ground type of difference.
hmm
So that's what's up, man. Yeah, yeah. I love what I'm seeing. I'm seeing we're getting reports in and pictures in and stuff like that about how the weekend went very well,
yeah,
for
man.
sure.
Yeah, man. So let us know if you were able to get out there. Michelle Moreno says yes, very nice. So yeah, yeah, yeah. Let us know what was the highlight of your weekend. I will say though, I had kind of a low light of the weekend, man. I got sick yesterday, and I kind of want to put out a warning, man. Y'all might want to be careful with strawberries out there, yo. Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Had a long day yesterday, and did some research and kind of concluded that there are some bad strawberries going on out there, man. There's actually been a recall on organic strawberries coming from Mexico. There's been a few people reportedly gotten sick from like those. I don't know if you've seen like the frozen strawberry berries
Oh
that a lot
yeah.
of people put in smoothies and things like that.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, those have been the strawberries in there have been linked to contamination and some sicknesses. So yeah, man, be
So like,
careful.
no, they put out any kind of official recall or anything, or is this
Yeah,
just
yeah. Well, officially,
uh,
the there's organic strawberries. They're sourced in Mexico. They're mostly sold at Whole Foods. So
oh,
I'm
okay.
not exactly sure of the brand, but again, organic strawberries sourced in Mexico, sold in Whole Foods. Those have been recalled. And then the strawberries that I got from Walmart. And
Mm.
we usually don't buy strawberries, but for some reason my son he just was like, "Hey, I want some strawberries," so we got them. But yeah, we threw those away quickly.
Mm. Well, I'm
Yeah, man.
sorry to hear that, man. You feeling better?
Slightly. My stomach's kind of a little tight, little tightness in the stomach.
Mm.
But yeah, yeah. Actually, Arrows 402, man, the mayor kind of going along. That's exactly what I was dealing with. I'm not trying to give too many, mental images, but it was a long day yesterday.
It was a
Very long.
long day. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm glad. I almost bought some strawberries myself, so I'm glad I'm gonna hold off on that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
appreciate the
Think twice.
update.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes, sir. Arrows 402 says strawberries. Just eat and you'll see them. Don't mess around to give you diarrhea. What? I just
He's singing the
those
song.
lyrics.
You know he's gonna come with them lyrics. Kimber Snipes gives us a good morning, y'all. What's happening? What's happening? Amy H. No Dot says morning all. How are you this
Hey.
morning? Appreciate you very much. Let us know how your weekend went. It was a one of these weekends that was just packed full of stuff.
Mhm.
Library opening Sunday. Of course, the Malcolm X Memorial celebration at the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation. There was NWA. That was the NWA lyric.
What? What song was
I
that?
remember that song. Remember that song. You were talking about. I don't think they said strawberries, did they? We'll see. We'll
Mm-mm.
see.
Is that nutrition with attitude?
Uh, what else was happening this weekend? The film festival over at the Benson Theater. That's where I was at. Had
Yeah.
to work. Really, really incredible films. I'm just like blown away by the level of just incredible. So yeah, that happened. People were getting out. So kind of got out a little bit on Sunday, and for the first time, rolled around down by the Jean Leahy Mall. All that new
Mm.
stuff they got down there, and was pretty amazed. First of all, I was real skeptical about them draining the little water thing and
Mm-hmm.
and moving all that stuff around. But that turned out to be a good move because there was literally like hundreds of people out there. Like it was obvious that they didn't wanted to utilize that space. And there's all kinds of things for kids and rides and swings and like all like it's and it
Yeah.
was packed. It was packed. It was packed all the way around with people uh dancing salsa underneath the awning, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like it was a trip. It was like I was kind of tripping. It was like a big city. Steelhouse had an outdoor concert going
Mm.
on all like a bunch of different tiers and levels, and it was just kind of like rolling through the city, man. Like rolling through LA or something. It was dope. I
Okay.
was very impressed.
And
Um
I've kind of said that just personally to myself for the last like when I came back from college, so it's like around 2016, it became very clear, like, okay, give it about 10 to 20 years and Omaha is going to take that step into one of those major metropolitan
Mm,
cities. And I think, as you're mentioning, kind of the downtown capital district, the Jean Leahy Mall, of course, there's more development coming. The Luminarium just launched. They're going to redevelop the whole lakefront area. Conagra
mhm,
campus is getting renovated. Of course, Tiff Alley. There is a lot of development, and we talk about it a lot, but I do want to make clear, like, I'm personally excited about this development. I think it can be good for the city. If you look at the Omaha Metro plus Council Bluffs plus the kind of suburban Bellevue, La Vista, you're looking at close to 1 million people within that, possibly even more within that range.
mm.
So I definitely think Omaha could be that area. The whole conversation and the whole point that I want to make sure is not lost in this is just that North and South Omaha, or the East Side, is also gets a piece of this. It does not make
Right,
sense because the growth is inevitable. Of course, we talk about what is the plan for the city. It's going to get there. That's
right,
just
yeah.
where it's going to go. Our only goal is to make sure that we don't get left behind.
Man, you said it. You said it. So yeah, yeah, lots going on, and I definitely got a chance to witness it, firsthand, see what was going on there. I didn't get a chance to go over to that library opening, but they said the library is beautiful.
Nice.
Just kind of exciting time. We're heading into, well, I guess Memorial Day weekend coming up, so
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
people are kind of already feeling springtime and getting outside, and yeah,
Actually, is that
always
this
feel.
weekend?
Is it this weekend? I always feel like you fall in love with a place in the springtime, and that's kind of
Mm-hmm.
Omaha ain't so bad. And then
Yeah.
a couple months later, I'll be like, I got to move back to California. It's too cold out here.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it is
Nah,
what it is.
it's the season, man. Tis the season. Definitely get out there, enjoy it. Of course, the farmers markets are back up, so make sure you getting out there, getting fresh produce. There's definitely some resources and some help out there for all the SNAP recipients. Again, if
Mm,
you do have SNAP, you can go to the farmers markets and use those. I actually think there's like a 2 for 1 for those with SNAP. So
okay.
yeah, yeah, take advantage. Take advantage. Definitely
Yeah.
check that out.
Before the GOP
Um,
takes snap away.
Yeah, man. Yeah, right, right. Well, we'll kind of talk about some of the budget things that are coming, might be coming down the pipe a little later on. But you mentioned Stillhouse. Did you make it to the hip hop event over at the Stillhouse? Was that
I did. I was going to talk about it just right before I do that, though. I want to acknowledge Kimmer Snipes in the chat. Says I took the new board president for one Omaha to Malcolm X Legacy event on Friday. That's what's up.
nice,
Appreciate that.
nice?
Yes, man. I went to the Steelhouse. First of all, Steelhouse is if I were going to design something, Steelhouse is it. Steelhouse is dope.
Okay.
It kind of reminds me of like First Avenue Club in
Hmm.
Minneapolis. Yeah, it's real tight. It's real tight. The event was off the chain. Of course, you had all these legends in the house. M1 Beat Miners, all these legends in the house, and everybody that was on stage was people that had that built all of '90s music, pretty much, basically. Like,
Mm-hmm. The beat
yeah,
miners. A lot of people don't know, man. They get down on the production.
bro. One of the Beat Miners, one of the brothers, DJ the dance battle after that. He was blowing my mind on the ones and twos. It was ridiculous. But on the panel, it was all these old heads, man. They in their 50s that built hip hop from like the late 80s to the 90s and all through the 90s to the 2000s. They talk about this transition in the 2000s and how things changed with the industry and so on and so forth. And the only person that was sitting up there that wasn't from that era was DJ Crab Rangucci, and she held it down for Omaha, bro.
Mm.
I was very, very impressed with the things that she was saying, and I could see it all on their faces too. They were like, "Wow, this is the next generation." Like I can see it on their face because she represented for women, she represented for hip hop, she represented for everything, and told them what was up, and told them her experience and how she incorporates things, her knowledge of music that she incorporates in her DJing, how she's pushing that music out to the next generation through her DJing. Is like a beautiful natural progression from these guys who made all this stuff to her, who's now it's like they made it for her. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Like that's what it felt like, and you can see the pride on their faces about the work that she's done. So I got to give a shout out to Crab Rangucci, man. She's first of she's my favorite DJ in Omaha, and then stuff like this is the reason why I get
Mm-hmm.
it. She has deep, deep, deep musical knowledge. She shares that. She puts that out there. She shows respect to it. She shows respect to the craft of DJing, And yeah, she's just dope, super dope.
Dope.
So,
Yeah, definitely kudos and flowers to Omaha's own Crab Rangucci. If you get the
man,
time, you get opportunity or the chance to see her do her thing, definitely seize that. Treat yourself, don't cheat yourself. And also, big shout out to everybody who's behind the scenes, not just those who are
yeah,
on the panel. But if you kind of really look at it, that event on Friday at Stillhouse was a lot of black excellence all around. I mean, we'll start with the sister who helped design the building. Let's
mm,
start there. Again, the sister, I forget her name. We'll definitely have to look that up to give her flowers. But again, the person who designed the Stillhouse building, the architect, kind of the mind behind it, the manager behind it, was a sister. So definitely shout out to her. Then of course shout out to Aaron, who's a part of Omaha Performing Arts, one of our partners, who was also instrumental in putting this whole hip hop program together. And if I'm not
mhm,
mistaken, this is actually the start of a larger hip hop program that Omaha Performing Arts will be having, man. So
yep.
hip hop, the people behind it, just a lot of black excellence all the way around. Definitely shout out to
Mhm.
that event.
There you go. We'll get into what we're going to talk about here soon and talk about the guests that we got coming on in just a minute. But right now, it is 7:15, 7:16. If you believe in the concept of time, you're now listening to a fresh edition of First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you Chad Chimers, Ghost listeners, radio listeners, and technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Here we go. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you for joining us. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the DS.
Man, it is Monday, May the 20th, or yeah, May the 22nd. Is it May?
2023. Yeah, yeah. It's May.
Okay, all right. Well, what month it is? And yeah, it is Monday. We're having a bunch of technical difficulties. Let us know if you can hear us. Let us know when you can't hear us. If something comes up, just let us know if there's a problem. We already determined that the music is not working today, so don't really know what's going on there. But we'll keep on rolling regardless
Mm-hmm.
because we're just doing the best we can on that. So that's
Yeah.
what's up. I want to say shout out to Mama God. Good morning, First
Hey,
Sky fam. How are you feeling?
my
Well,
dudes.
how are you? How you healing up? How's it going? Let us know. Let us know. Eros 402 says hit the like button on your way in. Miss Erica Fell says good morning. Good morning to you. Josh Take says Crab Rangucci is the truth.
Yeah, man.
First of all, genius name DJ Crab Rangucci. Number one. Amy H. Dot in the house saying good morning, fam. Really appreciate you as well. She also did the Benson Theater or the Benson Film Festival rap party over at the Sydney the other night
Mm.
too. So we actually got to witness her DJing the other night as well. So it was just a good weekend all around for her holding down the city with the hip hop. And you're right, like the other thing I want to mention too, got to give a shout out to Leo Lewis, bro. Leo
Man.
Lewis hosted the dance battle after the panel at Steelhouse. And I had no idea the brother had them kind of host and MC skills and dance skills. The brother busted out with some moves, man. Was backflipping on stage and like I was like, say what? And I was I was up in the balcony with his wife, and his wife was like, you didn't know he was a performer back in the day. I did not know this. He was a breaker, a performer, a rapper. I did
Mm-hmm.
not know that Brother Lewis was that deep into the arts that way because my experience with him has been activism from the start of when I met him. And she said that yeah, when he started that, he stopped all the other stuff. But it made sense. I was like, oh, okay, that's why him and Chrome used to throw them parties and stuff back in the day. They was okay. I'm starting to understand.
Mm-hmm.
But man, he had everybody on the edge of their seat, hosting that battle. He's you can tell he's been doing this for a minute. So shout out to Leo Lewis. I'm sure that he had a lot to do with what was going on with the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation celebration as well, and then took the time out to go to Steelhouse and host the dance battle for the kids, and really made it. A host and an MC can really make a show.
Oh yeah.
and make it exciting, and pitting one dancer against the other and the whole thing. He did a great job, so I just want to give him a shout out too.
Yeah, that woman says art and activism go together. I would
Man,
have to agree. I would have to agree. That's cut from the same cloth. The man of our own heart.
bro,
Art and activism. That's what we about too.
Leo made me. I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to go down here and battle him. Then he's gonna make me.
Oh,
He's
uh-oh.
gonna make me get up out the seat.
Hey, don't hurt nobody, Paul, including yourself.
Right, that's the problem. That's the thing. Mama God says, pray for healing power. Doctor scheduling surgery on other eye in June. Man, that's a lot of that's a lot of surgery. So
Yeah, man.
yeah, yeah, you're definitely would definitely be praying. And please take care of yourself and recover. Take some rest time and everything you need to recover.
That part.
Cameron Snipes says, you got to check out the dance cipher he hosts. Okay, so he does this on a regular basis. Then that's what's up. Yeah.
Okay. I have to tap in.
Miss Erica Fell says, I saw a video and all ages were having a great time and participating. Yeah, man, it was really great. The younger kids to me were really getting it. They were really feeling it. The older kids were kind of sticking to a style, and they ain't from my generation, so they don't really know how to battle too much. They weren't really. They kind of it was like they was kind of dancing in silos, like they used to dancing by themselves and just working on their moves. I was like, get in his face. I was bringing it back to '88. Get in his face. You're supposed to, you're supposed to be battling here. But it was very sportsmanlike. Everybody was very nice. Shook hands afterwards and all that. I was like, yeah, it's not from my generation right there. We was battling.
Mm.
We was battling.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It
Real
sometimes
competition.
broke out to a fight sometime after a battle sometime because we was battling. But it was good though. It was a good friendly competition, and the kids, everybody was all right, and it was very entertaining. And the brother from the Beat Miners was DJing, so he was playing all the hits.
I didn't know that. Ma Duke says she went to school with Leo, went to high school with Leo. Always
Sure.
active and busy, cool bro. Okay.
Didn't
I
know
didn't know
that
that, Ma
either.
Dukes.
Leo a little older than I thought he was. I thought he was I thought he was a lot younger. Um,
No, I think he's within his 40s.
when I
Getting up there.
saw, I think he might even be a little like late, like maybe I don't. I'm not sure, but when I saw him when I saw him dance in like MC, I was like, he's from my generation. Like if he like what I'm saying? Like I
Hmm.
picture myself so much older than him, but I'm thinking he might be closer to my age. I'm not sure. That's interesting. But yeah, man, that's a trip. That's a real trip. He always tells that story. He tells that story about his long hair and how what I'm saying, and with the
Hmm.
transition he made because of like brother Taylor over at Afro American Bookstore and so on and so forth. That's where I met him. I didn't know the old Leo that was out battling and stuff like that. So that's a trip, man. I'm really anxious. She said his wife said she was like I wish he would do it again. Like he was really talented, really talented. So you never know, man. You need to have a whole head battle out here or something. Let's make
Man,
it happen.
actually, speaking of that, you kind of brought me in, kind of brought me into the mind and gave me a segue to the Stone Cold Picnic
Yes,
article, because
yes.
shout out to Marianne Williams for dropping this, and it's a quick little stroll down memory lane. This is NorthOmahaHistory.com, where you can find the link on Friends of First Sky Omaha. But for those native Omahans, I'm sure you remember the Stone Soul Picnic. Of course, is something that does no longer exist. And this conversation kind of is making me think like, man, we need to bring that back.
I think they're working on it actually.
Hopefully, of course, if you're not familiar, the Stone Soul Picnic, man, is going on as long as I can remember, before my time. But definitely fond memories of going down to the lake during the summers, seeing whatever acts are coming. I mean, there are some pretty big names that came. Marcus Houston when he was big, Rick Ross in his early days came, and I'm sure some other bigger names even before then have come. And I didn't know this is actually something that went back all the way to the 1870s. According to this article, it says starting in the 1870s, Black community leaders in Omaha rallied the community to join together to celebrate Black music, faith, civil rights, and just to hang out.
Mm,
And of course, this is something that went on for a very, very long time. No longer goes on. I'm not quite sure exactly when it stopped. I haven't
yeah, me
fully
neither.
read through this article, but just a trip down memory lane, man. I know a lot of people in the chat remember the Stone Soul Picnic, and you say that there's actually talk of them possibly bringing it back.
Yeah, I believe Juanita Johnson, Councilwoman Juanita Johnson, won some funds, or were headed up getting some funds, and I think some art, maybe even some ARPA funds are coming. But there's a bunch of money that got poured into fixing up that whole area, fixing that
Yes.
park back up, and
Um,
that was kind of their vision, is like, we can do this again.
Yeah, to that point, actually, that's a part of LB 1024.
Right.
That's one of the projects that were applied for and were approved. Is a revamping of the Levi Carter Park, kind of an upgrade of that. Of course, there's still gatherings every Sunday. There's still a lot of community members that go out there and kind of hang out on Sundays, but the Stone Soul Picnic was definitely something a little more special. I mean, thousands and thousands of people will come out every year, and really is a celebration of North Omaha. And just thinking of what you're talking about with Leo Lewis, just all the things that are coming to North Omaha.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, there are some crosses, but a lot of it happens in a silo. And if we were to
Hmm.
have a stage like the Stone Soul Picnic, I feel like that would be a big enough stage. Again, it would have attendees of up to 7,000 people. That will be a big enough stage to actually showcase all of Omaha in one place.
Yeah. Most def. Yeah, I would definitely go check out. You said that article was from on the North Omaha historical
NorthOmahaHistory.com. Here, we'll go ahead and
history.com.
post a link in the chat for those interested.
Yeah, yeah, definitely check that out, man. We've got some stuff from him before. He's definitely the guy who runs this site here is definitely doing his research. He's definitely looking into things, and trying to bring history out. I did hear a couple folks say, that he's definitely getting it from research. Wasn't necessarily like he was there for most of this stuff, but he's researching and getting some of that information, and beginning and getting those talks going, really
Hmm.
getting people talking about the history and so on and so forth. So, and also, it correlates with my with cousin Pat, who put that the Deuce book out as well. There's a lot of history in that book as well. She's still going for that. Still selling. Still on the getting people hip to all the things there as well. So. Definitely check out that book. I was seeing if I can find it and find where to get it. I think she's setting it up to buy it at the African American bookstore here pretty soon as well.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah, man. So lots of history that we can be gleaning for sure. Lots of history, lots of things that we want to try to bring back. And I think you're right. I think, like, we're excited about the Steel House and all the things that's going on, like downtown, the new Jean Leahy Mall, everything else. But there's some opportunities in North Omaha for some things to happen too, and areas to be set for us to be able to kind of do our thing over there as well. And
Hmm.
not to mention, stuff coming up with Juneteenth.
Yep.
We did hear that the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation is they're kind of going after some dollars so that they can really put some on the grounds there. Remember, there's 17 acres over there,
Man.
and the potential to have 4 or 5 thousand people over there for events and stuff as well. And every time they do something like they're doing right now, like they're getting ready to set up to do for Juneteenth, that's them establishing that that's what's going to be happening on these grounds.
Hmm.
So looking forward to all these shows. We've been a witness and been participants in some of the big shows that have come over there at the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation. Big stages, big names coming through like Music Soul Child, Life Jennings. So I mean, there's going to be a couple places that you can throw some actual festivals if Stone Soul, if that park where Stone Soul Picnic was that gets fixed up as well. So
Hmm.
looking forward to some big places to do some things.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. As you mentioned, the Freedom Fest, Juneteenth coming up. Please make sure you go out and support that. Man, you just 17 acres. I don't think really you can put that in like quantify that, but that's if you ever been to Atlanta and seen the King Center, we have more land in Omaha for Malcolm X than we do for the King Center. And
That's crazy.
yeah, yeah. I mean, just to show a couple pictures, like there's no reason why we can't have this type of stuff for Malcolm X in Omaha on the grounds. I mean, there's a whole big lake with his tomb in the middle.
Oh, wow.
Um, of course, there's man, it's a nice laid out area. Of course, you can go to the church, but there's no reason why we can't have some of that stuff as far as just that same amount of land, honoring brother Malcolm. And hopefully, we will
Yeah.
see as Senator McKinney I mentioned there are works for a museum, possibly. He's working
Hmm.
to get some funds directed towards a museum. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. A lot of work to be done, man.
For real, for real. Mama Guy says, I think the community had a rendition of Stone Soul Picnic during last Native Omaha days. Okay, that's what's up.
It is mentioned in this article, and Paul, I think you do know about it. I think you were a part of it. The Proud to Be from North Omaha picnic.
I don't think that's. I don't know if that's the picnic that she's talking about. That's a rendition of Stone Soul Picnic, but it may be. But yeah, and that's coming up too. That Proud to Be from North Omaha picnic is it's already a year later. That's coming up as well. I saw it on Facebook the other day. But yeah, that draws a lot of folks and a lot of folks from out of town as well, especially on the year that Native Omaha Days happen. So, well, so there's going to be a couple celebrations, including Native Omaha Days, Proud to Be from North Omaha picnic, and so on and so forth. Lots of stuff that is already going on, and that's what I'm saying. Like if they can get that area together, and get the numbers out there. And really, I wish that we would do stuff like the Native Omaha Days on a regular basis, more regular basis.
Hmm.
Maybe
Yeah.
once a quarter or something like that, or
Hmm.
what I'm saying, or at least every summertime, at least not instead of every other year, every year. You know what I mean? Like at the very least, there when we can walk the streets of the Deuce and and see all the vendors and see all the entertainment and kind of just hang out with the folks. It's a moment.
Yeah.
It's a
I
moment.
mean, it's a question why the dudes doesn't look like that every weekend. Like
Every
of
year, every
course,
time we say that every time.
yeah, of course. I mean, there's issues of violence, but I think we could do that. We can come together. There's enough vendors. There's enough people in the community. Enough organizations that can team up and make sure that there's a good time on the Deuce every weekend that's safe for the community.
There's issues of violence in any large
Right.
group of people that get
Right.
together in any area, which is why they have police and security everywhere all the time. People still get hurt. It's just a thing that happens when you get big groups of people together. But there's no reason why we can't do that. Also, Kimber Snipes says could do some major voter registration and education. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's things that you can do when you get big groups of people together for sure. Miss Erica Feld is co-signing on the history website there. It's a really good website, she says. Arrows 402 is asking, Buddy, when you coming out? When's the kickback? When we gonna hang out?
Right now, tentatively late June.
Late June. Got it. Mama Guy says Dallas and somewhere in California has the Native Omaha Days. Yep,
Yep.
certainly do.
Atlanta too.
We've been tapping into the groups outside of Omaha that have their own Native Omaha Days, and then that's why they do the every year because they have their one year in their hometowns, and then they bring it to Omaha the year round. So every other year it happens because of that. So I think that's really interesting. But even like if we did something here just with us that wasn't, I don't know. I just every time we see Native Omaha Days, we think, why can't we have vendors on the street and performances and stuff like that all the time? It's no don't make no sense why we're not.
Right.
You know. Rick Fulton in the house says hello. He says looks like McKinney and Wayne LB 531 has become a Christmas tree bill with all kinds of amendments for special projects. Yep, absolutely. There's some of them were necessary. Some of them were the things that they were trying to get all along and got in at the last minute. I'm surprised there. I'm happy that anything got through at all with what's been going on in the legislature. We'll have to definitely
Hmm.
talk about that coming up because we endured a filibuster that actually ended up failing because of the
Yeah.
bill that just got passed on Friday. So it's a good segue. Maybe we should jump into that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, let's go ahead and jump into some of the news of the day. Of course, we spoke to the senators. Speaking of senators McKinney and Wayne, we spoke to them on Friday to kind of get a sense of how things are going and how things, what to look out for in the last days. I think this is actually the last week of the legislative session. So again, kind of the final stretch, if you will. And yeah, a bombshell kind of came down recently as this is actually making this is being reported by CNN, making national news. A Nebraska legislature has passed a bill that restricts abortions for 12 weeks and also restricted gender affirming care for those under 19. Again, this is the very bill that the filibuster was trying to stop. And that 33 vote mark was initially felt that it would be under that mark as far as how many votes that they had. But now here we are, and Nebraska has actually combined a ban on most abortions after 12 weeks and the gender affirming care bill, and is now poised to become law after the unicameral legislature voted for its passage on a 33 to 15 vote. LB 574, also known as the quote unquote Let Them Grow Act, of course, was introduced to bar healthcare providers from performing gender transition surgeries and to restrict access to puberty blocking medication and hormone treatments for anyone under 19. It will also severely restrict most abortions at 12 weeks after legislators added a last minute amendment to the bill on May 17th. Kind of going again back to LB 531, which Rick Fulton was mentioning as far as how bills are amended in its final hours.
Mm,
Um, yeah. So definitely, I think someone in the chat actually mentioned kind of the question how this bill can be passed. Again, a 33 to vote, 15 vote for this bill. But again, they're kind of conjoining two issues, and that's something that we've seen similar with the cannabis bill, which is exactly why the Supreme Court of Nebraska voted to stop that bill or stop that from coming into law because they said, it's two laws kind of conjoined in one.
mm,
So very interesting how they kind of formulated the language of this bill. Of course, there's much opposition to this. There's actually many protesters and activists who kind of filled the rotunda over the weekend as they made this vote. A chance of protesters in the halls of the state capitol could be heard in the chamber, even as the lawmakers spoke, with the Nebraska State Patrol arresting several people during the debate on charges ranging from disturbing the peace to obstructing a government operation. So, again, that's just to give you an idea of how tense this situation was. Again, not only does the bill make it illegal for medical personnel to perform an abortion after 12 weeks, the ban also ranges of treatments that fall under the umbrella of gender affirming care. Some of what it bans, like various gender affirming surgeries, are already extremely rare for minors. But things like puberty blockers, hormone treatments, and the standard of care for many trans and non-binary youth will be impacted by this bill. Of course, it still has to be signed by the governor, and of course, the governor appointed chief medical officer with the authority to make rules on access to puberty blocking medication has been a big point of contention with Senator Megan Hunt kind of calling him out personally, saying that this doctor who apparently has much of his expertise or experience in veterinary care, she says, why should this doctor be able to tell me what to do with my body when, again, he was just a veterinarian?
mm. That's
Yeah,
rough.
yeah, shots. But again, as you mentioned, very interesting that here we are, 33 to 15 vote. This bill passes despite, again, all the opposition from both inside and outside the legislature.
Yeah.
But here we are.
Including that filibuster that they held on to for so long. Governor has already decided stated that he's going to sign it into law, and there's also an emergency clause in it, which means it'll go into effect the day after he signs it into law. So
Mm,
within this week, that law is happening there. So um, yeah, there it's a letdown for a lot of people that was really fighting for this for sure, like you were saying. And all we can do now is really just keep on pushing for everything else that in the last days of the session they're trying to go for.
hmm
And the senators have been on explaining the situation. They're negotiating right up until the last minute because everybody's putting amendments on. They've done some as looks like Rick Fulton was explaining a little earlier. That he said McDonald requests for money for Creighton to build baseball practice fields for the CWS. I didn't hear that was an amendment that was on 531, but if it was, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I know those brothers are in there playing chess on this and
hmm
trying to make sure that they get the 33 votes they need for the money to come to North Omaha, and they in there making compromises and everything else as far as making sure that there's stuff that is happening there that is not really going to affect us in any kind of negative way, but they can allow other people to do in order to be able to get their vote, stuff like that. So we'll see. Um, Also, Rick Fulton also says, "Guess we will have to take the good and the bad out of the bill." He says, "What I'm confused about is, does the Nebraska Department of Economic Development have to decide on the merits of the proposal, or are they granted if the bill passes?" I think there is some decision making that's still
Yep.
there. The fellas mentioned last Friday as a matter of fact, Brother McKinney mentioned last Friday. He was like, if I was one of these businesses, I would even go ahead and redo my proposal and
hmm
get it to the DED so that they can take a look at it again over these dollars. But just want to keep on stressing that the brothers were working on them dollars last year, and they played chess on getting on with the governor on being able to get funds in, and so that we didn't have to be subject to that ARPA deadline. So they
2026.
right, and then they immediately jumped into securing more money and more regular money each year for North Omaha right after that. As a matter of fact, you guys know that we got a zero evaluation when we did our application, but they immediately told us, here's what we're working on. So there's other dollars out there, could be for media, could be for broadband, it could be for there's other dollars out there they're trying to get, other millions of dollars they're trying to bring into North Omaha. They've already secured some of those, and some of those will be coming in yearly. They've been going after other funds as well. People that didn't get an evaluation or got a zero evaluation like us still have opportunities to get money because those brothers immediately went to work on more dollars.
Hmm.
But as far as these 531 is concerned, looking good, probably will pass. And that's the original, $1024 that was supposed to come in the first place. And it sounds like there's a way that if you didn't get an evaluation, you can still talk to the DED and figure out how to work something out there too. Also in the chat, he says, what I'm guessing is that amendments to the bill will be funded and the bulk of money will then go to the NDED for them to decide which proposal should be granted.
Yep.
Yeah, they're going to be heavily weighed on those evaluations, but yes, they will take some other things in consideration as well. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the feminine product at legislation was different is about.
Yeah, I'm kind of questioning. Are you saying that they were actually literally throwing feminine products at the legislation during this abortion debate? Is that
Is
what
that what happened?
protesters were doing? Again, several people were arrested, so it got
Wow.
tense.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Tell us about that, Brother Johnson. Before we move on, I want to just acknowledge Kimmer Snipes. She says Brother Kasim got the Malcolm X Award Friday, held us there, had us in there teary eyed.
Hmm.
Excuse me. She said it makes me think about it when you talked about security.
No,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's crazy, man. According to reports, people throwing feminine products at the legislature. I'm sure
man.
sure didn't like.
Again, very, very, very tense situation.
It was like
Um,
arrest
yeah,
them, please.
yeah. Again, several people were in fact arrested, so that's quite interesting. We'll kind of see what happens with that arrest. Maybe the ACLU will step up. Yeah, they're already commenting on the situation. But there is something that I do want to point out. I mentioned it earlier as far as what how bills are amended. Again, we saw the cannabis bill thrown out by the Nebraska Supreme Court because of it. They say it addressed multiple issues, and again with this abortion bill, it still compared to different things is very interesting to look out for.
Mm,
Also, a 531, maybe look at how these amendments will impact it. Under the state's constitution, legislation proposed in Nebraska is required to be limited to a single topic. Though the bill's advocates say both issues addressed in its language are medical procedures. So very interesting how the language of the bills impact their success, and just something to look out for again as all of these amendments are piled on the 531 because somebody try to use that argument to maybe stop that. So just something to
yeah,
look out for.
very true. Uh, it's already 7:44. If you believe in the concept of time, we're almost getting to the second hour of First Sky Omaha in the morning with us and you and
Oh
everybody
God.
checking it out. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I mean, we're
yeah.
responding. Do we want to read that? I don't know, man.
Y'all
It
look into
sounds
the
like
chat, see what Miss Erica Fell talking about.
yeah, yeah, y'all do that. Just
Um,
it got
you know
hectic in this
what? It's not
legislature.
that big of a deal. She says one person did throw a pad from the balcony while yelling, "There is blood on your hands." Was there blood on the
Man,
pad? Is what I need to know.
that
Uh, yeah, bro. So it's Monday. I'm already like, man. I hope Friday hurry up and get here. We can ask the brothers what went down.
man, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, that's
just
crazy.
just to let you know, in the second hour, we will be speaking to Brother Levelle Wells and also Brother Frank Bailey. They've been on the show before. Those are the special guests we forgot to mention earlier in the show that are going to be coming on. So stay tuned for them. Lavelle Wells is, to me, the absolute key to bringing together the Black and Indigenous communities.
Mm.
Really, really appreciate the work that he's doing, and also the work that him and Frank Bailey are doing when it comes to modern therapies. We talk about these things a lot. As a matter of fact, Brother Justin Wayne tried to pass a bill about the PTSD that these kids are having because of the violence and stuff in our community, and this is the kind of work that needs to be funded and that needs to happen. Wait till you hear the programs that Brother Frank Bailey is putting together and Brother Levelle Wells is helping with.
Doing the
Amazing,
work.
amazing, amazing therapies. They'll be coming up. We can talk about it. And as a matter of fact, I think those brothers got evaluated for some money from 1024. So they are going to be funded, and we'll talk to them about that a little
Nice.
later on as well. Excuse me. Amy H. Dot says, "Why not read it? Yeah, I mean, it's real and natural and true. Yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah,
As
yeah,
soon as I
yeah.
was like, yeah, it's no big deal. I'll read it. It's just, you
Mental
know,
image.
yeah, yeah. I didn't know that that they went that far with things inside too. That was, I think that's what surprised me. I'm picturing, Terrell McKinney and them ducking. What's going?
Man,
What's flying around here? That's yeah, craziness. But anyway, they trying to get their point across. That's what the deal is, man. You know what I'm saying? Like a protest is a protest. Like makes sense
yeah,
when wildness like that happen, people get arrested because they felt really strongly about it. When we say that there were people standing out there are people protesting. It was a lot of people out there. There was a lot of people out there. I think there was like close to 100 people at one point that were trying to get in the building, that were outside of the building.
hmm,
So they were really, really trying to push on this, and like we've been talking about it all season. Senator Michaela Cavanaugh and Senator Megan Hunt have been fighting for this situation and have been in national news, have garnered national attention over all these things, and thought there was a victory last month. There was something that did
yeah,
not pass because of one Republican senator that decided to kind of stand up. So they thought they were making some progress, and then so for this to happen, rough, devastating. Did talk to Senator Megan Hunt, and last week she did say that she's happy to come on to the show, and we can talk to her when she does. Obviously, they're going to wait until the session is over for them to have the time to come and do that. So we'll see. He said, yeah, like you said, either way, voice is heard. That's exactly.
mm.
He said, what we throwing for black rights?
It's a good question.
Whew.
It's a good question.
Yeah, and can there be some blood on it?
Mm,
Is the question.
that part. But yeah, man, keeping it moving, man. Again, still looking in the wee hours of the legislature now that again this abortion whole situation, as you mentioned, not just on Friday where there are hundreds of protesters outside of the Capitol, but this has been kind of throughout the whole session a big topic. And hopefully now that this is kind of over, unfortunately there will get some attention to criminal justice reform. That's something that the senators have really been pushing for, and I'm definitely looking forward to see what victories they will have with that. There is a lot of hope. And looking at the Omaha Police Department, there is some response and changes, but I would like to discuss with the chat here if there's enough. Of course, speaking of protests, going back to 2020, the city erupted in protests as a response of the killing of George Floyd in Minneapolis. Of course, we're now calling that whole summer protest Freedom Summer, and one of the main calls, speaking of voices being heard, was more diversity in police departments, or even complete eradication on some instances of police departments. And it looks like the Omaha police are trying to change. Again, let's talk about it. As reported by Omaha World Herald, the Omaha Police Department has intentionally increased the racial and ethnic diversity of its sworn officers over the past decade. Department leaders say the increased diversity, along with community outreach efforts, is helping to solve and prevent violent crime, as well as improve local police community relations. Of course, the percentage of sworn Omaha police personnel who are not white has grown from 17% just in 2012 to more than 22% this year. That includes going from 57 black officers in 2012 to 87 black officers this year. According to police department records, over the same period, the number of Hispanics were sworn personnel grew from 60 to 91. Even so, people of color are still underrepresented in Omaha police ranks when compared to the general population of the city. So, again, the percentile reflection isn't quite the same. Of course, people of color, quote unquote, compose about 34% of Omaha's population this year. a representation gap of about 11%. The numbers have remained flat over the past 3 years, as the Omaha Police Department, like other U.S. agencies, have been having difficulty hiring officers. As for management, the Omaha Police Department has sworn 162 members with a rank above patrol officer. Of those 162, about 16% or 27 individuals were people, quote unquote, of color. That includes two deputy chiefs who are Black women. Of course, to the contrary, we've reported on some of the issues of women being hired. Of course, there was the Gonzalez situation. Mayor Stalter, or not Mayor Stalter, but Chief Schmaderer, being convicted, being found guilty of discrimination in that lawsuit. So again, is this enough? Is it really the question? Is this enough? Are you seeing? Is this a step in the right direction? What do we feel about these changes, or what should be happening with the Omaha Police Department?
Well, good question. I'll put that out to the chat. What do you guys think? Personally, I think I reject the premise.
Mm-hmm.
I reject the premise. I don't think that the question of diversity in the police department is the question to be asking.
Mm.
Because I don't care nothing about diversity in the police department. That doesn't help nothing. There's still the police. There's still a police. There's still a police culture there that everybody who joins the force is a part of. It's not about what color people are on the force. It's about the blue
Mm.
for me. So, in on paper, they should be, they should be representing the neighborhoods and so on and so forth. But you named off a whole bunch of black and brown folks that got hired. Does anybody know who they are? Are they from the neighborhood? Are they from people? Are they from
Mm.
families that they're in charge of policing? Are they even assigned to our areas? I don't know.
Mm.
I don't know nothing about it. All I know is I come from the era of understanding the blue line, bro. And that it doesn't matter what color you are on the blue line. The blue line is blue line.
Man.
Police needs to be reformed. Police department in general needs to be reformed. And I don't necessarily personally feel like it's going to be reformed by hiring people of color.
Yeah.
Because I think about what I'd have to think in order to join the police force.
That
What kind
part.
of
All I hear is Ice Cube. Black police showing out for the white cop.
Come on, bro. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. And that's that's what it is. Like what you gotta believe in policing in order to join the police force. And I'm kind of you already know
Mm.
where I stand on that. I don't think one human ought to be policing other humans like that. I mean, there's a need for the police for certain situations, of course. Not
Yeah.
denying that,
Like
but
the situation when they pulled the car off the guy.
that too. That was what's up.
Yeah.
First responders and all, that's what's up. And also, there's people out here wilding out that they need the police called on them for sure. But we're talking about the way there's so much more abuse of the situation than there is anything else it makes me skeptical. It's an overall thought. It's an overall we need to police, especially in our area. If we were living in North Omaha, we might think a little differently. But the three helicopters over North Omaha and the people,
Mhm.
and you know what I'm saying, and the way that they are policing to me is it doesn't matter who it is doing it. From my perspective, I'll jump into the chat and see what everybody else is talking about.
Yeah.
Sean McCarthy says more representation is a great step, but I'm wondering how many of these new officers have backgrounds in de-escalation crisis handling as opposed to law enforcement. So I'm saying, man,
Mm.
the training that police get, they're gonna get the people of color are gonna get that training, which we obviously could use some more de-escalation training and so on and so forth. Shout out to Sean McCarthy over there, YouTube. Appreciate you. Kimmer Snipe says, I wonder what the numbers are for police officers who are leaving the Omaha Police Department.
It's a good question.
Very good question. We've reported on a couple times when police officers of color have ended up killing folks, like brother Zachary Berryhills, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter what color. Kimmer Snipe says Maurice Jones, who once ran for city council, became an Omaha police officer, and now he works for the Valley Police Department.
Mm.
Maurice Jones, that's somebody from the hood, somebody you know. Tony Johnson 12 says culture is correct. Current black cops from North Omaha not involved in community. I don't know none.
Mm,
Amy H. Dot says I've met plenty of cops who are POC who have drank the Kool-Aid. I'm with you, Paul.
there you go. Yeah, I mean, as we're talking about it, I can think of one brass who I know from the community, Miss Thomas, Officer Thomas.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah, I know
yeah,
her.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Again, her husband, worked at Omaha North. He was one of my mentors when I was a part of Omaha Squires. I would see her all the time, like as security guard at Omaha North basketball games and things like that. And now I see her in the community, and I
Mm.
might talk to her. But that's one.
She's super cool too, by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah, that's one. And
Yeah.
quite honestly, I have gotten the sense though, to be frank, I have gotten the sense from her that there's a level of her just trying to do her job as well.
Right, and I'm not gonna take that away from nobody. Like I say, I don't even think about it in an individual way, which is the reason
Right,
why I'm
right.
not thinking nothing about people of color being in there. It's about overall overhauling the way that policing is done. It really needs an overhaul, and then it don't matter what color anybody is, and you know what I'm saying.
Hmm.
If they don't allow white supremacy to exist, if they don't, there's some. How many stories have we heard about white supremacist groups that formed inside the police department?
Oh man.
You know what I'm saying? Like if we can get rid of the culture, if the culture can change, then it doesn't matter what color anybody is in it. The whole everybody in it, the culture needs to just change. From my limited perspective here, Ariel's 402 says when more than one cop is present, one needs to be appointed and act to de-escalate the situation. They all need de-escalation
Hmm.
training. Kimber Snipe says Memphis proves that. Amy H. Dot proves. Yep. Okay. Tony Johnson 12 says reason why call helicopters ghetto birds. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. From my white friends that don't know what a ghetto bird is, it's a helicopter it's a police helicopter that's so common up in the air so commonly that you don't even hear it no more.
Man, it's like a bird.
It's like a bird in the ghetto. Ariel's 402 said police need to have more community engagement. They need to learn how to see the community as people, citizens, families, and friends. Very true. I
Yeah,
think they
well,
think I think they think that the diverse hiring is going to do that. But
mm,
like you said, we've named one police officer that we know that's in the community that way. Now
yeah.
it could be others, man. I'm not out here shaking cops' hands every day. Could be others. I don't know. But it doesn't really feel like that to me.
Well, I mean, let's ask those who are. I mean, Sister Kimmer is in the chat. She's held, she's talked about her relationship with Omaha Police and trying to bridge that gap. Of course, some people are mentioning the Black Police Officers Association, which will be present during the Freedom Fest. So there's an opportunity to see who's doing what
Right.
at that opportunity. So I do kind of want to push back on that notion because we do, regardless of how we feel, of how effective we feel it is, there still is an empowerment network. So to some degree, the police do feel like they are doing the engagement.
Mm.
So and we can't say they aren't, but again, where's the gap? Obviously there's something still missing.
Well, Tony Johnson said there's no black police that come to those empowerment meeting network
Hmm.
meetings.
Hmm.
Um, and again, like I am also going to push back a little bit on what I said too, because you're right. There's a lot of police out there that are just doing their job, but like I said, the job is messed up. Like just doing the job don't mean you know what I'm saying.
It's not going to change anything.
It's not going to change anything. That woman said, Miss Hiccup says one of the Proud Boy leaders is Latino. The Proud Boy leader is Latino.
Hmm.
The head Proud Boy that just got arrested or just got indicted for something is Latino. There's a whole bunch of white supremacist groups. I saw a whole article on this. They have recruited so many Latino people, so many people of color, black folks
Hmm.
into these ranks even.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, they're trying to act like that because the message is a different message. It's not we're out here hating people of color. It's the government is taking our this and that and so on and so forth. Proud Boys got a whole different kind of message that just happens to speak against people of color. And
So it's more so anti-government.
I mean, that's how they're dressing things up in a lot of
Mm,
yeah. Because I think, as a matter of fact, I think he got indicted for the January 6th, the
insurrection.
insurrection stuff, right? So they got an agenda. But yeah, it is funny to me that this what the government has labeled the white supremacist group is led by a Latino cat. So and
Mm.
right off the top, you got to be like, why would you be why would you be in there with why would you be in there doing that? I don't know. MEH Dot says this it's the entire mentality. Any human doing a job like that, policing humans, folks get jaded and dehumanize those who they police for real.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
sometimes I'm not even blaming the police for that all the way. The system means that you have to kind of go in there and turn your feelings off and dehumanize people. You have to go in there thinking that some of these people are going to be shooting at you. You got to be because of the system of policing. Both sides have to act a certain way and feel a
Yeah.
certain way and deal with it.
Are you familiar with the Stanford Prison Experiment?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, for those who aren't, please go look it up. But the Stanford Prison Experiment was an experiment done at Stanford University. It basically, in short, took a psychology class. Some people were assigned as guards, some people were assigned as prisoners, and for a week, they went through a prison simulation in the like a bottom level of the psychology department at Stanford University. There's a whole film out, starring Shia LaBeouf. There's a whole documentary about it. It is a very, very interesting expose in just in human behavior and how humans, once assigned to a certain position or given certain powers, how they respond and how they kind of lean into that position, whether it's a prisoner or a guard. It is very, very interesting. And to your point, yeah, yeah, people are given these powers. Some people are just gonna take it to their head. Some people are going to abuse it. Most people actually are going to abuse it. And once you're given this box, unfortunately, human psychology kind of allows us to just nestle and get comfortable and just embody that.
There you go.
Definitely an interesting thing. Stanford Prison Experiment. Please go check that out.
For sure. Ms. Erica Phelps says, I had a white child care provider try to defend the Proud Boys after their violence in North Carolina by telling me they can't be racist because their leader is Latino. Tony Johnson 12 says that empowerment network Kool-Aid must be good, seeing some new members thought never would drink it.
Mm,
That's interesting. We're still going to talk to the empowerment network and see what's
yeah.
happening. I'm all about trying to work with every group that's trying to do something. So we'll see what's up. But we're going to do it in the way that we've always done it, which is that we have an agenda that we're trying to fulfill, and nobody's going to make us sway from that story. We can find ways to work with people without swaying from what we're trying to do. Also, Marianne Williams says Enrique Terrio is Afro-Cuban. Cubans enjoy special immigration statuses and tend to be conservative. See Cuban Adjustment Act.
Hmm.
Yep, that's right. That's one of the reasons why Florida is Florida. Marianne Williams says radio is leader of the Proud Boys. Kimber Snipe says too many words and even type. We can discuss further Wednesday if you want. What you talking
Yeah, yeah. I guess she's responding to my question about her interactions with the Omaha
about?
police, trying to organize, and you've kind of shared some of those thoughts before, but yeah, definitely always love to hear more from you.
And you're going to hear more from us. We're going to take a quick break and come right back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning,
Let's see if we fix this music situation. Can
hey,
y'all hear that?
I hear it.
Can y'all hear that?
I hear it.
Anybody else hear it? We're going to act like they do. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. You're listening to
Hey,
First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
in the D's.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, chat chimers, ghost listeners, radio listeners. No radio listeners today though, because I shut it
Mm.
off. I turned it back on though because we fixed it. So if you need to
Tune on
bounce
in.
out, if you need to bounce out and go listen to the radio channel, you can now. So I appreciate you with your patience with all of our technical difficulties this morning. Just to remind everybody, we do have some special guests that are supposed to be coming on here pretty soon. My man Levelle Wells, who I feel like is instrumental in so many good things that's happening right now. Not just the connection between Black and Indigenous communities, but also just he's doing a lot of work with just men, having talks with men, being able to provide a safe space for men to kind of talk about their feelings. Even he's on a weight loss journey. He's an inspiration to a bunch of people. Like lots going on, man. And I got a chance to go to the reservation with him a couple weeks ago. Man, he just walking. He's one of them cats that just walk around. Hey, how you doing, man? Everybody knows him. He's shaking everybody's hand, giving everybody a pound. Everybody hugs. Everybody knows him. Everybody loves him. How your mama doing? How your aunt do? He knows everybody's family. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, people like that. That's what you call charismatic leader, right there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And those kind of cats can get things done. So shout out to Levelle Wells. He's supposed to be coming on to the show. And he's also coming on the show with his partner, Frank Bailey, who is a doctor, and he has put some curriculum together for helping some therapies together that helps especially young kids that are like in traumatic situations. And I can't wait for you to hear about some of these programs, man. I mean,
I,
it's right
I
up the alley.
I remember talking to that brother. Yeah, some very very innovative approaches to mental health and young men. So yeah, definitely looking forward to that conversation.
Cutting edge
Yeah,
stuff
man.
that they're doing all around the world. Yeah, right here in Omaha is going down. So that's what's up. Marianne Williams in the chat. Good morning to you. Over there on YouTube says, want to give everyone a heads up that voter ID is on the agenda in the legislature today. So tune into that. And of course, you already know the protocol there too. If you want to, well, actually, is the protocol changed now? Because we're in a different stage of the legislature. Can you still send a note through the legislative website? Can you still go up? I guess you can always go up and go
Mm-hmm.
protest and stuff like that. So, yeah, just keeping in mind that we're still hanging on the edge. Now there was some infighting with the R's in the legislature about voter ID.
Mm.
Some were compromising, others thought it didn't go far enough. So it'll be interesting to see what's going on. But yeah, thanks for the heads up on that. We'll keep an eye on it. Miss Erica Phil says, I just spilled 2 cups of hand shredded cheese. You can leave that cheese alone now. Go ahead and let it fall.
Kick the dairy. Kick the dairy.
Marianne Williams says also on the Nebraska legislature agenda is one of Senator Wayne's criminal justice reform bills. So there you go. Keep an eye on that as well. And she said, yes, you can call, email, show up, and add online comments to specific bills. So we can
There
still
you
do
go.
that.
There you go. So yeah, it might be too late for the voter ID bill. I know you have to do that the day before. But you can still, if you can make it down to Lincoln, definitely still go. There's a lot of questions about that voter ID bill. So thank you,
Yeah.
Marianne Williams, for keeping us on top of things. I'm definitely looking forward to see what comes out of that. Of course, there's still no clear indication how voter ID this bill will impact voting. Mail-in voting. Will you have to get notarized? There's a lot of questions about this. So yeah, definitely looking forward to see how that's cleared up.
Yep. Yep. Okay, well, like I said, appreciate everybody that's joined us today. We had some technical difficulties earlier, and I just appreciate everybody who is you can bear with us through all that. I think we're back on track now, and just in time because we do have some special guests coming in soon. But before we get to them, you want to jump to what's next on the agenda we can talk about here?
Yeah, well, actually, you kind of reminded me of this next topic, and this is a question that I'm asking because you said there's some infighting, and we've been talking about we got on this whole 2-party system, and I'm kind of questioning that. But the story at hand, just jump into it. NPR reports that the Biden and McCarthy, who is the House Speaker, and Kevin McCarthy, they are expected to meet today, actually this afternoon, to have a face-to-face meeting to address the debt limit. Of course, government spending has been a big point, especially from Republicans. That's kind of, you remember back to the campaign season. That was, I mean,
Mhm.
regardless of where you were in the country, that was kind of one of the main agenda points, if you will, coming from Republicans trying to stop government spending from Democrats. And that's really the same issue. Again, those talks are continuing. McCarthy says that I think we can solve some of these problems if he understands what we're looking at. We have to spend less money than we spent last year. Of course, the Biden administration and House Republicans have each doubled down on their lines, while simultaneously blaming each other for stymied progress and stressing the need to avoid defaulting on the nation's debt. McCarthy has repeatedly said that including work requirements for able bodied adults without dependents enrolled in federal safety net programs like food stamps and must have for his conference. So, of course, more possibly more red tape and hoops to jump through for those types of programs. That provision also included in a bill House Republicans passed just last month that addresses raising the debt limit. Progressive Democratic lawmakers were concerned when Biden suggested last week that there was a possibility he would consider that proposal. And there have been signals that there are general areas where both parties would compromise on a potential deal, including 60 billion in unspent COVID-19 relief money. So again, there's still funds out there connected to COVID-19, which which would make both oil and gas projects as well as green energy projects happen more expeditiously. Of course, environmental projects are definitely one of the things that Biden has mentioned. um, of course, what could a default mean if no agreement is found? Of course, the U.S. has never defaulted on its debt before, but it is a possibility. Most economists agree an actual default could result in a recession. Default would severely affect financial markets, increasing mortgage rates and interest rates on credit cards. Also, government workers and Social Security recipients can go unpaid as a result, and also could make it difficult for businesses and citizens to borrow money. So it could definitely make a huge impact to an economy that's already struggling, already, treading water. So hopefully they will come to an agreement. But this just kind of, again, goes back to my thoughts and the conversation that we were having about this whole two-party system in general. And it's just, we're never going to get anywhere if we don't figure out how to work together. And there's always a lot of finger pointing. There's always a lot of, it's not my fault.
Well, the thing that struck me about this situation, because I wasn't really paying too much attention about the national debt and whether or not we're going to
Hmm.
default and what was going and all that until I started reading about these negotiations and what the GOP wants to happen. The good old what is it? What do we call it? It's the good old party, right? Is that
Yeah,
what we
the
call it?
grand old party.
Grand old party. The grand old party want they're saying limit spending, and of course a lot of this spending limits will affect us more than
Hmm.
anything else. Um, excuse me. I heard a really interesting news article this morning on the radio about the nature of welfare, how it began,
Mm.
what it was for, and I had forgotten that it was for American families, for especially women and children. That and it was for them to be able to get their bills paid if they didn't have a man in the house, or if they didn't have if they were widowed or something like that. For people who was a single mother and kids, to be able to not work so she can raise her kids.
Mm.
It wasn't just some help while she also went to a job, put her kids in a daycare, and went to a job. Welfare was actually invented so that a single mother could just stay home and raise her kids without having to pay the bills. And it was like that all the way up until the 50s, when then people of color started to utilize it, and it kind of doubled. People of color doubled in that, even though we're still talking a very low percentage compared to the white population that was benefiting from it.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden, that's when you start hearing this rhetoric about people being lazy and not wanting to work and taking advantage of the system and so on and so forth.
Mm.
Um, so here we are today, and in order for us to not default as a country, which would be devastating to everything, all gas prices go up, all credit card bills go up, everything goes up if that happens. And the Republicans are using the grand old party is using this time and opportunity to get some to tick some things off on their agenda. One of which is you got to have deep more job requirements to even
Mhm.
get aid, to get assistance. And it's just it's interesting dichotomy when you think about that. Now you have to have a job. First of all, you already got some work requirements in order to receive aid. Now they want to toughen those work requirements up. They want you to make more money out in the job and work in order to qualify for this aid. And of course, it's going to has to be in a certain position, or else you won't be able to qualify for it. But the whole point is that they are using this in order so that they're trying to take some aids away. They're trying to make more hoops for the aid, and they're still on this narrative that it's all these people of color that are taking advantage of the situation and just being lazy and don't want to work. I always talk about what the governor of Iowa said.
Mm.
We don't want our safety net to become a hammock.
Mhm.
So really messed up how that's happening, and it affects a bunch of stuff. Even these ARPA funds, even these COVID relief funds, that's the ARPA money. If Biden decides that he's going to negotiate with them and decide, okay, he already said he's going to pull back $1 trillion in spending, and some of that was going to be COVID relief funds. So then what happens if money that everybody's applying for that they still haven't gotten yet from those kinds of funds, that those funds get taken away because they haven't spent them yet. So there's a lot. There's a
Yeah.
lot on the line when it comes to this particular situation, unfortunately.
Also, what came to mind is the student debt
Right. Oh,
situation.
that's
Yeah.
already that's not even gonna happen. That's
Right,
already
right, and
done.
exactly, because of the overspending that Republicans are calling out, or claiming, and yeah, if they don't find an agreement, or if the country goes into to default, then that's definitely never happening, or at least no time soon. And as far as the timeline for all this, just to kind of bring it home, as far as what we're dealing with and what we're looking at, of course, this is something we haven't. I'm with Paul. I haven't really paid attention to what's going on nationally, because we've been so deep in
Yeah.
local politics, but this is something that we should look out for, and the clock is ticking. Actually, the US could run out of money to pay its bills as early as June 1st, so we're talking a little over a week.
And if that happens, it'd be an unprecedented thing that happened too. And,
Yep.
and we don't even know all the ways it's going to affect us, but we know that interest rates will go up. We know that inflation will go up. Everything will be really, really bad by June 1st if we default on this. So
Yeah.
we'll continue to look for it. We got special guests waiting in the wings. We don't want to make them wait too much longer. I just want to jump in the chat real quick. Gwen Easter says, "Good morning. Good morning to you." Also, Ms. Erica Fell says it was for wives of military and then to keep them out of the workforce when soldiers return.
Mm.
That's what welfare was for back in the day. Also jumping in the chat, she says, I have cancer, and they still tried to say I had to do a 30-hour job training, 30 hours of job training and or search just to get 398 welfare check while being in treatment. I had to fight to get that pocket change.
Mm.
That's what I'm talking about. And they're trying to make it harder. They want to make it harder for people to get aid. She says, I needed that 398 to pay my insurance premiums and incidentals.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Big time.
So you couldn't even use that to actually survive and pay for your bills. Like, you had to use, first it was pocket change to begin with, and then you had to use a pocket change to pay for the treatment that they were trying to keep. Yeah, that's
Tony
interesting.
Johnson 12 says, funny how talking points for voting Democrat last time not come to fruition. Politics, false promises.
Mm.
Miss Eric Fell says, welfare sure wasn't going to pay enough for my basic living, mortgage, utilities, hygiene, etc.
Right.
Ridiculous. Von Chapman says, good morning. Teamwork makes the dream work, except when the two parties are working from two different playbooks.
Mm-hmm.
Example, it has become clear that collaboration is celebrated and defined by the Empowerment Network means assimilation, and the reason why the problem at OPS and the growth in the juvenile justice centers in Nebraska prison population are in fact expanding and growing. This is directly from the Republican playbook. That's
Mm.
interesting. That's what's up. Let's see. Ariel's 402 farmers get subsidized. Ranchers get subsidies. The fishing industry gets subsidies. But when citizens get subsidies, it's going too far.
Mm.
Tony Johnson 12 says, just need to vote issues, not parties. And Miss Erica Felt finally says, the community and friends kept me from being homeless with my child. I can't say thank you enough.
Man.
Shout out to First Sky Omaha folks and friends and fam, man. Really appreciate everybody that is doing that. And she's not out of the weeds yet. So we will continue to help as much as we can, Miss Erica Felt. and you appreciate you sharing your story with us about that personal insight on what's happening with the welfare situation. It adds so much to the story that we're telling right now. It's just doubling down and proving what we're talking about. So messed up. Good morning, Brooke. Good morning to you. She says, "Happy Cisco Day."
Hmm.
What thong song? You don't, oh, you talking about Captain Cisco from Deep Space Nine. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we've left them in the wings long enough. Brother Levelle Wells and Brother Frank. Hey, brother. Hey. Okay. I'm sorry. We're having some technical difficulties this morning, so I'm glad that we got you guys on now. So I thought I was getting ready to totally mess that up. But anyway, thank you very much for coming through. Really appreciate you guys being here. How are you today?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Can you hear us?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I
Yep,
can hear
yep,
you.
doing all right,
Yes.
doing all right.
Brother Frank Bailey in the house and Brother Lavelle Wells in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show, and welcome these brothers to the show because I'm very happy to have you guys back. Good morning, good morning, good morning. If you can't hear us, yeah, Brother Wells, we can't hear you. You gotta. I think you might be muted. We gonna get this together. We having some technical issues. It's one of them Mondays for us with the tech this morning for sure.
I try to say something, brother.
I think he's stuck.
Brother Wells.
He's stuck right now. His internet is stuck. You might have to restart, bro. Your internet's stuck. There we go. He's back on. Can you hear us? Can't hear you yet. Yeah, yeah. Okay, keep working on. We'll talk. We'll talk to Brother Bailey real quick. How you doing, Brother Bailey? We'll give him a minute to get that
Pretty
going.
good. How you doing?
Not too bad. What you been up to lately, bro?
Well, it's been about I think it's been about a year since we've been on your program,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, we've been steadily like trying to obtain funding, and it's pretty difficult, with the competition, and then in Omaha, it's more like you know, it's like almost like a popularity contest. You got to be able to package your product, uh, talk to people, know the right people. That's the way it goes. But the thing is, we focus more on outcomes. We're running like a small pilot. You know, we've done like 20 uh, grant applications. We've had six refusals, and which is like it can be depressing, you know.
hmm
But I think that's just part of it.
yeah,
And the thing is, recently we talked to somebody from the Omaha Foundation. We saw them at the 360 meeting. They said apply in June with them. And then we talked to the Whites Foundation. We did an interview with them back in, I think it was April. They got a funded opportunity coming open in August. So we're going to apply with them and see what happens.
Okay.
Because as a grassroots organization, it can be kind of discouraging. Right now, the small pilot we're running with just money out of our pockets or just sweat equity, which is difficult.
yeah,
Oh yeah. It's only so far you can go without the proper resources and assistance. But hey, here you are a year later, as you said, still doing it. For those who aren't familiar exactly what you are doing, can you kind of give a little background about who you are and the work that you're doing?
Well, the name of our organization is Wells and Bailey Intervention Specialists. We focus on prevention and intervention of black and brown adolescents that have complex trauma, uh, and that's what affects their ability to think and regulate their emotions. There's nobody doing what we're doing. When you talk about like a unique product, it's very unique to Nebraska. It's unique to the Midwest, and it's unique. The closest thing I found to it was in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. It's the inpatient facility where intensive outpatient. Uh, we're evidence based, and we used the latest scientific interventions to uh, develop brain regulation and the youth so they could just make better
Mm.
decisions.
Mm.
That's the thing. It's not about judging them on what's right or wrong. It's giving them the ability to think. When someone has complex trauma, they don't have the ability to think. They just react. They react, react, react. They're constantly in survival mode. They're not in uh, they're basically they're not thriving. They're basically just
Hmm.
surviving. We have like gang members or young people that have complex trauma. They're constantly in a survival mode. They're not thriving in life. They're surviving, and I think that's the piece that's missing. We have a lot of trauma informed uh, agencies around, which is
Hmm.
good, but as prevention intervention, there's nothing like it here in Omaha.
And in many other
So
parts
that's what we're doing.
in many other parts of the country, it doesn't seem like there's this is not happening a lot. I did last time we talked, you were telling me about some of the therapies, and I remember taking a look at those on Google and just realizing that they were some of the cutting edge techniques that they're doing around the world, and there's still not a whole lot of people even into it in other states. I mean, like you say, you just found one in Colorado that's doing some similar stuff, but I remember being very impressed by some of the ones that you were laying out, some of the techniques that you were laying out in order to battle that trauma, and it's sorely needed. Now I know that you guys applied for some of those ARPA funds, right? The 1024 funds. Did you mention that earlier?
Yes, yes, we did, and the unicameral still haven't voted on it, so it probably won't be till the next session because of that filibuster they had going, or it's still going. I don't even
Hmm.
know, but it's going to be moved back.
Well, here's
You
the let
know,
me give you the update on that because we have the senators on every Friday talking about it. So the filibuster's done. They have now been talking about 1024. Brother Terrell McKinney rolled that into a bill called 531, and what that was those brothers got smart and they went to the governor and they said, "We're going to run out of time with that 1024 money. There's a time limit on how much on when we can spend it. So can we switch those that money to state funds, and then you guys get reimbursed by the 1024? So there's no limit on there. So that looks like that's going to happen, and then it'll go through a process with the DED, Department of what's the
Economic development.
Economic Development. They have to go through a process for it, and then the governor signs off on it, and then the funds will come. So still no telling how soon or later that's going to happen.
Well,
Um,
Senator Wayne mentioned that we could be seeing some things by July or August as far as announcement of awardees. It's really kind of hinging on who Governor Pillen, appoints as the director of the Department of Economic Development. But some of those funds can be coming soon. So, Brother Bailey, if that's something that y'all did apply for, maybe you can just look out. The Department of Economic Development is who you want to go through, and hopefully, you will get some funds for that because we talked about all the healthcare or mental health facilities that's coming out, but it seems like what you're doing is slightly different.
Preventative,
Yeah,
rather.
right. I'm kind of curious. Can you speak to that? Like from what you've over the last year, that since you last came, there's been a handful of projects, mental health facilities that are coming to the community. How do you feel what you're doing is different from that?
well, most of them are like basically trauma informed or based on talk therapy. And the thing you got to
Mm.
realize with complex trauma, it's not uh, addressed or treated through talk therapy. It's going to do it for the next 5 years, maybe, but it's more addressed through the innovative therapies they have and interventions. What makes us
But
different is that
hey, brother Bailey, I'm sorry to interrupt you there. We're having some internet issues there. Uh,
Maybe close some
yeah,
tabs.
yeah. If you have Windows open on your computer, if you close them down, that might help with your internet there. And I think we got brother Wells. Can you hear us now? Still can't hear you. Okay, I'm sorry, brother. We're gonna have to. Yeah, we'll get together
Mm.
another time, man, and work out what you need to work out on as far as this is concerned. Okay, cool. We'll catch up with you. I appreciate you, bro. Okay. And now we can get a. Sorry
Sound
for
like
the
it got
technical
worse.
Okay, I
difficulties,
think I
folks. Yeah, yeah.
just about
You might have to restart there, bro, and try to come back in. Restarting your computer will help.
Again, we apologize, y'all. Please bear with us.
but
Yeah,
what makes
your
it can you
yeah your internet's
Choppy.
all choppy, man. You might have to restart. I don't know if you can hear us.
I can hear you saying when you restart.
Yeah, try to come out and come back in.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that, folks. Yeah, we need to. This is what happens too, man. When we interview cats that come in through through on the north side, because the internet on the north side is still not strong enough really to do certain things. So here's Brother Wells. Hey, brother, can you hear it? Still nothing. Yeah. Okay. I appreciate you trying, bro. We'll do this another time for sure. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna go to a quick break and come back, man, and try to regroup here. Sorry about that, folks. Yeah, Amy H. Dot. We'll get that information from Brother Bailey because the techniques are something else, really something else. And we'll work with those guys kind of off time there to get them back on. But we'll take a quick break. Again, you're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you
Hey.
Chat Timers, Ghost listeners, and radio listeners now, thank you very much. We appreciate you guys being here and hanging with us through some of this mess. The
Man.
internet is a trip, man. So, yeah, appreciate you doing that. Ariel's 402 says hit the like button if you're over there on YouTube. Appreciate that very much. And again, we apologize for the technical difficulties. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Looks like Brother Bailey restarted. Let's bring him on real quick just to see if this works. So stay tuned real quick. Brother Bailey's on. Okay, we got you now. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay.
We can hear you better
Can you
now
hear
too.
me?
Yep. So make sure that you don't have any extra windows open on your computer because that slows things down too, and we'll be able to keep hearing you smoothly. So appreciate you trying to working with us and coming back here. Again, the next time we have you back on, we'll definitely get a hold of you beforehand and get things set up. There's a question in here that Amy H. Dot was asking about. She says, "What type of techniques and what about government funding like HRSA and region? You know about those funding sources?"
I've heard of them, and there's uh, Douglas County has grant writers through the commissioners
Mm-hmm.
that's helping me with some of that government grants. So what they're doing is looking for government grants that will fit me, and they'll write the grant for me, which is surprising. I didn't know Douglas County they had grant writers that do that for the underneath the commissioners, but they're looking into that for me for them government grants.
Wow, I didn't know that either. That's
So I
Yeah.
mean,
Man, that's not a small thing, man. That's pretty huge.
most definitely.
yeah, it's true. Kim Havakati, and there's a guy over there named Steve Jackson. They have another grant writer that helps, like, and a lot of people don't know about it. I just stumbled up on it. and I talked with them, and I gave them some information. I gave them a lot of information about our program and what we do, and they're looking for the government grants to write for us, which is huge,
Yeah,
you know.
man, man,
Yeah.
that's
If
nice.
we're grassroots organizations that don't know, it'd be just contacting them and talking to them, and they can see if they can help you.
Wow.
Man,
Well, you guys are now a nonprofit. You're officially a nonprofit, so now that's why you're going. You guys got a lot of efforts out there and writing a lot of grants and trying to get funding through that route. And it sounds like you're finding resources and people that are letting you know where to go and check things out too. And you mentioned you had a lot out. You got six that got rejected. Uh, Overall, how do you feel like your fundraising efforts are? Do you feel positive about the fact that you guys will get funded to do the things you're trying to do?
I believe eventually we will. I mean, Lavelle talked to a lady the other day, and she's a philanthropist, and she's interested in sponsoring us. I just applied for the Loziers grant, and there's a high possibility that I'll get that. And these other, like the Omaha Community Foundation and the Whites Foundation, they specifically told us what to write. I've had some feedback from people, and they said I could be too technical in what I'm saying and what I'm doing.
mm,
So basically, I need to basically dumb it down, and not be so technical and use more. I hate to say common language, but not so much therapeutic technical language. So that's the feedback I've gotten,
Yeah.
which is good.
yeah. Actually, speaking of that language, before you were breaking up, I asked you about some of the techniques that you're using and how that differs from some of the facilities. We feel like they're just more beds, so it's definitely nice to see your approach. I'm looking at your LinkedIn real quickly just to kind of rattle off some of these techniques, and then hopefully you can break it down. But you say I'm trained in the following: eye movement desensitization, reprocessing, acceptance, commitment therapy, integrative attachment trauma protocol for children, a trauma focused cognitive behavior therapy, trauma focused moral recognition. What are some of these practices and techniques? I'm not familiar with these. So, yeah, what are these?
Well, EMDR has been around since the late '80s. A lady named Francine Shapiro developed it. It's actually pretty effective. It's evidence based, and basically what you do, you process past traumas. You could either use EMDR for present things that happen to you, like shooting, being shot, uh, being fights and things like that, or you can process past traumas like traumas from childhood and things like that, and they use eye movement or rhythmic tapping, and you process the trauma as the person's talking about the event. And what it actually does, it puts the emotions in the past instead of allowing them to rule in the present. Because a lot of people's reactions when it comes to complex trauma is connected to the past event and emotion, you know. And I've been using it now for like about almost 10 years, and I've seen changes in people that's just phenomenal. When you're
Wow.
talking about the attachment theory, it's another EMDR therapy, and it's done through the Attachment Trauma Center. These ladies are known worldwide, and they developed this trauma. They're located here in Omaha, and I've actually used it in sessions when it comes to doing attachment work with uh, parents and their kids, because the issue is the attachment trauma. It's when I say attachment trauma, it's that lack of attachment due to events from childhood and things like that. So what you're doing is processing the trauma to improve the attachment between the kid and the parent. So there's that exchange of energy. There's that connection that didn't happen in childhood. I mean, that's like huge, because a lot of people, the issue is attachment. So when there's a lack of attachment and trust, there's just a lack of just being with other people. And so they either have the fight response, the run response, the the shame response, or they talk about like uh like dysfunctional attachments when you talk at people like relationship patterns or toxic
Mm,
relationships that is due to
Hey,
uh, due to poor attachment as a kid growing up. So,
we
actually, when I'm using these type of
you
therapies,
break,
you can,
bro. You're breaking up again. You're breaking up again. If you can hear me,
I hear
yeah.
you.
Some,
I got it on my,
something changed there,
apps
and you're
closed.
breaking up again. Yeah. I don't know if a window popped up or something. Something happened, and you were going smooth, and then it changed up again. Yeah. Okay. Can you hear us? All right, brother Bailey, we're gonna have to let you go. We'll get with you another time and try to help you get your internet up. Yeah. It's internet on your
Yeah,
side, so yeah, we'll catch up with you soon.
yeah,
Can you hear us? Yeah. Sorry about that, man.
somebody said I'd be using earbuds.
Yeah, I don't think it's the earbuds. It's an internet connection
Yeah,
issue.
yeah, it's your internet connection issue there. We can see the level on our side of where your internet's at.
It's in the green.
Uh, yeah, so
Yeah,
yeah, we'll get back with you, man, and I'll give you a call and we'll try to put something together so we can get you on, and you guys can speak clearly about what's happening here. So I'm sorry about that. We'll definitely catch up with you another time, and we'll work it out with you. But I appreciate you coming on, and if you can hear all this that I'm saying, I appreciate you coming on. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yep. Okay, you send us a private message. So, yeah, I appreciate. We will do this another time. Okay, man. I appreciate you. We'll talk to you soon.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that, folks. Technical difficulties there. We usually send out a few instructions on what can happen there. But hey, if you're in a situation, if you're in a place where the internet's bad, just know nothing can be done with it. It's just what it is.
Well,
So
as of now, there are reports of more fiber optic. Of course, we talked about Google Fiber coming into the community, and Cox trying to stop that. But there's either even more fiber. I think companies are looking at the lack of good internet in North Omaha and looking at it as an opportunity. So hopefully, maybe that will change within the near future. But yeah,
yeah.
internet in North Omaha is an issue, and as we try to do endeavors like this, you can see it kind of at mercy of the infrastructure.
So, brother senators Justin Wayne and Terrell McKinney have been trying to get money from an infrastructure bill, a Biden infrastructure thing that has to do with continuing broadband into North Omaha. There's already lines laid for it, but like Buddy was saying, Cox has blocked it basically.
Man, hating.
Cox, not the Cox block, and they blocked people coming in and making it happen there. So yeah, that's all Cox right there. And so yeah, so they're working on it. Like I said, there's already kind of money assigned and already wires laid. You know what I mean? So it's
Man,
really just about whether or not they want to turn that on. The other thing too is, man, they got to figure out something about lowering the price, because that's one thing. They got different tiers and levels, and sometimes us as broke people take the lower tiers, which means that you're going to have a kind of a slow internet and everything too. So messed up. It's very messed up. What's going on there? And that it's not just north side. It's happening all over the place, but it's definitely happened north side and south side, especially, and even parts of downtown, stuff like that. It's just really hard to get a signal. We rely on Wi-Fi a lot too, which when Buddy and I, for instance, have our computers. First of all, we had to upgrade our computers because the processor in the computer is a lot. It has a lot to do with your internet speed. We also have to plug our computers into the modem directly with a wire and not use Wi-Fi. And that, and then as you can see, we still sometimes have internet issues even with all of that.
hmm
So that's just the nature of the game. But the whole thing that we're here to do here is just to try to have as much live conversation as we can. So we're going to keep on working with what we got, and trying to help others to be able to come on and do that as well. So Von Chapman in the chat is asking, what would it take to get funding for better internet service in North Omaha? I think the funding is already kind of there, and so is the infrastructure. It's just get unblocked, start some efforts. I know that William King was doing a lot, and he's bringing towers and things out to the indigenous community. And I don't know how much work he was able to get done here in North Omaha with that, with beefing up the internet here.
Well,
It's a lot of because Cox is out here
yep,
blocking stuff. So
yep, yep. I do remember a large part of what he said was Cox. It was kind of in the middle of that. So
yeah,
yeah,
man, it's unfortunate. I really wanted you to hear what Brother Bailey and those guys are doing over there. Brother Brother Levelle got into the chat though. He said Big Elk Native Soul Indian Taco fundraiser, taco June 9th at my office. More info to come. So we'll definitely be promoting that. He's over there with his organization as well, trying to raise funds for his nonprofit, Big Elk, and he's doing a lot to bridge the gap between the Black and Indigenous communities. He's really out there helping the Indigenous communities. He's got a men's group going on, and he all these cats that are doing this grassroots stuff. They don't got a huge bill. They can throw a couple fundraisers here and there, and really get helped out. So we always like to promote when he's doing a Indian taco fundraiser, not just for the food, but just because the work he's doing, and this really helps that. So we'll be looking out for that on June 9th, and we'll try to bring him back on before then to talk about some things that's happening, and what Brother Bailey's working on. So long story short, gist of what's going on here is that we're very interested in what those brothers are doing, because they're offering something in our neighborhoods that nobody else is offering, which is preventative care
mm-hmm.
for trauma. Coupling with what the brother senators are doing to try to get money for PTSD in kids and so on and so forth. We can get money to treat the PTSD, and we can also help get money for them to be able to treat the trauma in all kinds of state-of-the-art technical ways that have been proven to help now. The latest of what the world is doing, we can have right here in Omaha, and can really, and that will really help out as well. So they did get a good evaluation to get funding from the ARPA funds. The evaluation, obviously, they're getting good looks from some of the other foundations. Everybody kind of sees how important this thing is. And I haven't talked to anybody yet that's really doing any real preventative kind of therapy and work and stuff like that. Overall, there's some stuff out there, but this is very specific work and very intense, state-of-the-art stuff that I think that is really, really necessary. So I appreciate those brothers for doing what they're doing, and we'll learn more about it as we go.
Man, can't say it enough.
There you go. 8:47, man. Wild Monday. Wild news Monday this morning. We apologize for that. We were also supposed to have Brianna Full on this morning too, but she had a previous engagement. She had to involve herself in, and couldn't make it in, and asked to reschedule this morning. So we'll have her on soon too. She wants to give us a OPS report about what's going on with the search for the superintendent, what's going on in OPS in general, and all these things. So we can't wait to talk to her coming on as well. That we definitely have our lineup this week coming up. Of course, Kimmer Snipes and Precious McKesson on Wednesday, and Brother Senators Terrell McKinney and Justin Wayne on Friday. And then we're really coming close to the end of this season here. It's coming up very shortly. We got about 3 more weeks actually. Man. So we'll be locking down that Chad Chimers kickback. But he said it's probably going to be towards the end of June. We'll be talking about it. So yeah, lots to come, and let's talk about season 6. Everybody who reached out to me saying that they wanted to volunteer, help, jump on the team, get some stuff, get us to the next level, do some things. I'll be talking to you very soon so that we can arrange some of that for season 6, which will start around the middle of July. So that's what season 6 is going to be all about us, about that team that we trying to make the dream work with, getting that support and the boots on the ground, and people who are really down to help and move and take some action on some things and building that infrastructure out. So that's what we're going to be working on in season 6 for sure. So yeah, stay tuned, man. 6 is all about feet on the ground, boots on the ground, the support for everything that's happening. We talk about it all the time. We talk about, as a matter of fact, somebody said it in the chat today, art and activism can go hand in hand.
Oh yeah.
What it is that we're trying to do is build this art out, to build this awareness out, to build understanding out, And by the time we get to season 7, that's what we'll be working on. Season 6 is to set up the infrastructure for that in a big way. So not lots of stuff happening. It's all because you guys are here with us, making these conversations happen, and also supporting, even monetarily. We really appreciate everybody that's doing that for sure.
Man.
10 minutes to the end of the show here, and we got a few more topics that we can jump into. Maybe we can lightning round a little bit and then jump into a couple of haps. And again, love to hear if you went out to the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation, if you went to any of the events that happened this weekend. It seemed like everybody in town was out.
Let us know.
Yeah. So let us know what's going on for sure. And we would love to hear from you on that. Did anybody go to the Lizzo show besides Precious? No,
I
Precious
did see
got
some
her
video
represent.
from that. Yeah, let us know what you got into over the weekend, man. I forgot that went down. A lot of things happened.
Yeah. It was funny because we were out and about. We were at the Steel House watching the hip hop thing, and I saw Kethro was in the house, and he was rushing out, and I was like, man, you leaving early, man? The dance battle's coming, you know.
About to miss out.
He's like, yeah, I gotta go. And then later on, I saw the pictures. He went down to the Lizzo show and all that. I
Yeah.
was like, okay, that's what's up. But yeah, it seemed like everybody was out, and sometimes I get this impression that there's only like a certain group of people that go out, so we can only do one thing at a time. So if you got a Lizzo show over here, then you better not have a M1 at the Steelhouse because we ain't got enough people in this community to support both.
Mhm.
Well, I got proven this was the proof that that's not true. We
Mm.
got plenty of people out here because not only did those two places get packed, everything else that was going on in town that night got packed out. So it's just that time of year where people are coming out. And when and if you have the right stuff for them to come out for, they'll come out.
Yeah.
That's
Also, I
what it
think
is.
it's a mix of, still people cabin fever from COVID. It's a bunch of new stuff in the city. I think that's all kind of coming to a head. So
Yeah, I definitely
yeah.
think so.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Jumping into the chat real quick before we get out of
Yeah.
here and wrap things up. Tony Johnson saying bet that voter registration effort was successful. So hopefully.
What's
He says also preventative therapy
nah,
not profitable.
he's being facetious on that. You
Mm.
get the laugh out loud and what because I don't think there was no voter registration effort at any of these places. So I think
Well,
that
we
might
need
be
it, man. We need it. Well, yeah. But also, I agree with what you're saying. Preventative therapy not profitable. That's why. Also, Ariel's 402 kind of coming back in saying there is money in treatment, not prevention, which is definitely why we want to push and support what Brother Wells and Bailey are doing. Yeah. Again, I'm not really hearing medication. I'm hearing actual, looking into their eyes, looking at body language, looking at how trauma presents itself and manifests itself today, and breaking that down, which is definitely just based on conversations that I've had in therapy sessions and with people. It definitely goes a much longer way than beds and medication, but we
man.
all know what it is, man. So we'll definitely continue that conversation. Big shout out to everybody jumping into the chat with that as well.
Yep. Let's jump into a couple of little haps before we get out of here.
What's the house? What's happening? What's going down?
Ladies and gentlemen, time you sucker MCs. It's time for the haps. There's not a lot of haps going on. It's only Monday. It's only Monday, but we will talk about a couple things that's going on. If you have some haps that's coming up this week, let us know. Shout out to Marianne Williams that's letting us know what's going on in the legislature today for sure. If you happen to be down in Lincoln, or you happen to have the day off and want to shoot down to Lincoln, definitely a couple of things that you can be paying attention to for sure. That voter ID situation is happening today, and one of Senator Wayne's bills is happening today too. So let us know. And also, if you were out and about for the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation celebration of the legacy of Malcolm X, then please let us know how it went. Give us your experience. It was a awesome event that I saw that I could see online. Everybody was posting video and photos of it, and really proud that they did this. So let us know if you went to that. You also know that this is coming up. In Vogue is happening, man. It's the Boss 95.7 The Boss, the 6th annual Father's Day festival that Brother William King puts on. Appreciate him doing something for Father's Day. There's not a big Father's Day festival out here anywhere really that I know of.
They don't care about us, man.
Y'all don't need Father's Day.
They don't care about dads.
That's right, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of moms there playing the dad role too. Like we gotta celebrate us. But there's a celebration of fatherhood going on, featuring Grammy award-winning group In Vogue. Of course, is going to go down. This is at the Orpheum on June 18th.
Man.
Grown folks music, man. I'm all about it. I'm
Oh
all
yeah.
about it.
Oh yeah. Shout out to Bill King, Boston with us.
Boston, the boss. Also, this is happening on June the 1st. This is the Sona annual banquet. So I'm sure that Kimber Snipes will talk more about this on Wednesday. But this is their annual banquet, which I think is a great idea. I think the neighborhood associations really need to be doing more of this kind of stuff. But happening at the Croc Center on 2825. If you hadn't been to the Croc Center, check it out. It's
Man,
awesome.
get down.
Very, very cool. Building neighborhood together, going down the 5:30 social 6:30 program on June the 1st, 2021. Shout out to Kimber Snipes for the Sona annual banquet. Definitely keep that on your radar there for sure. Here's a flyer from this is upcoming stuff going on with Benson Theater. Remember the drumstick? Black woman made this film, and it's awesome. And she's and I just met her over the course of the film festival, and really knowledgeable about everything, film, music, super cool. So I can't wait to see this. I think that's happening on Wednesday, and then Renee Benton will be on Saturday. If you into that black rock, definitely check this cat out. Black rock, sophisticated funk, progressive, really cool stuff. He's a guitar legend around the world, and he's been doing it for a while, and he's from Nebraska, so he's back here to do his thing. So definitely check him out. So yeah, shout out to the Benson Theater for that stuff. More information, of course, go to bensontheater.org. Got to check everything out that's going on there. So that's what's up. And then, of course, don't forget about what's happening on Juneteenth. The Freedom Festival is going down back at the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation. This is the one you can bring your kids to, the arts and crafts, the carnival games, the free food, the family fun for all ages from noon to 5. Definitely check them out. Go to omahafreedomfestival.com and get download your daytime tickets. And remember, set it up to get them kids over to grandma's house, because later on that night it's going down.
Man.
The Omaha Freedom Festival with Music Soul Child, Life Jennings, Angeline Timeless. And yeah, it's gonna be dope. It's gonna be super dope. They got some experience now behind their belts on how to throw an event at the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation grounds, and what makes people comfortable and so on. So I remember being in meetings like, we make sure that we got chairs for the older folks. So on and so forth. They really think a lot about how to make people comfortable to come check these shows out, and also make it secure and safe. So definitely check them out. Go to omahafreedomfestival.com and get your tickets for that as well. And remember, there's a giveaway. They got a Juneteenth giveaway, and they're working with a couple of people. The Union Pacific Quality Clinical Research, and in conjunction with the Omaha Freedom Festival, giving away a car. A generously donated vehicle will be awarded to a senior in high school or a freshman in college that has maintained a 3.0 GPA or higher, along with a teacher recommendation. And it gives you some zip codes that the students must reside in. And we already talked about that. It is what it is for this one. They'll expand things later. But definitely go to freedomtainment@gmail.com if you have some questions on that one. So lots going on there associated with Juneteenth and the stuff going on at the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation. And we appreciate Calvin Williams that we had on to talk about it. Buddy, got a couple?
Yeah, well, just want to remind people, big shout out to the homie Marcy Yates and Culture House. They're getting down with the art battle. They're bringing that back this weekend. May 27th is going down at the Culture House again. 12 artists, 3 rounds, 1 champion. They will be doing live art. Be opportunity to come out there and support the artists. You actually may be even able to take some art home. So again, please support our local artists and just support the Culture House, man. They get down. Down. So yeah, art battle is going down again this Saturday, May 27th at 6 p.m. Also in the chat, Marlon Harrison says, who can get an interview and talk about my project I'm doing for Omaha North High? I am a Viking. That is my alumni. So I would definitely love to hear about what you have going on with Omaha North. So if you can just drop some information about that in the chat, we'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, you can also hit us up at firstsky@gmail.com and give us all your information as well. Appreciate you coming on through and letting us know. But we would like to talk a little bit more to you and about your project before we have you on the show. So yeah,
Right.
definitely send that over to firstsky@gmail.com. Arrows 402 says, is First Sky marching in the Juneteenth parade? I don't think so. I think that we're not going to march in the Juneteenth parade, but I think that I'm gonna work on doing some behind the scenes help and work with some of that stuff. We're looking to try to do some coverage for Native Omaha Days though, so that's coming up as well. We're kind of putting volunteers together for that, and trying to team up with some other filmmakers and so on and so forth to cover that. So if you're interested in that, let us know. Again, you can always hit us up directly on Facebook, or you can hit us up on the Facebook page, First Sky Omaha, the Facebook page, or you can hit us up at firstsky@gmail.com.
Yeah, man.
And we'll check our email and check it out. So appreciate it. Mary Ann Williams says, glad to contribute to this great show. Thanks, First Sky. Hey, appreciate you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
doing that for sure. Miss Erica Fell says, I'm headed to the veterinarian. Wishing everyone an incredible week full of good health, laughter, a goal working, drink water, and be good to yourselves. Appreciate you very much for that. And it's 9:00. We're going to go ahead and get up out of here. So thank you so much for joining us, buddy. You got some words for the people?
Yeah. Despite the technical difficulties, big shout out to brothers Frank Bailey and Levelle Wells. Definitely check them out. Wells and Bailey intervention specialists doing the good work, man. Trying to help us navigate through the trauma in the community, man. So big shout outs to them. Hopefully we can bring them back on with better technology. It's kind of been a rough one today, man, from the beginning to the end. So we appreciate all of you also for bearing with us, man, and joining the conversation. And, despite the technical difficulties, still engaging, jumping into the chat, letting your mind be free, letting your voice be heard, man. We can't do it without y'all. We love you. We thank you. And without further ado, just go ahead and check us out. Same time, same place. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right here on First Sky Omaha in the morning. RB, take it away.
Yep. Marlon Harrison said, for North's 100th anniversary in 2024, says, I'm doing alumni interviews and already got 3 interviews out. That's going to be interesting to see. Hey.
I'm an alumni. Holla at me.
Holla. Thanks for joining us. I want to give shout out to the Omaha tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. Thanks to our elders for allowing us to speak before them. And thanks to you, the chat chimers, allowing us to speak with you. We appreciate everybody that's chimed up in the chat and had these great discussions. If you missed any parts of the show, you can go back to Facebook or YouTube, watch the show in its entirety. And when you do, check a look at the chat. The chat is where a lot of the conversation happens, a lot of the information, the background, the research. I really appreciate how you guys are in the chat, speaking to each other and speaking to us as if we're face to face, and really trying to get to some answers, on some of these things that we're talking about. So thank you so much for joining us on that one. Stacy Jean says, great show. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Can't do it without you guys. So thank you so much. We're going to get out of here and let you guys get on about your week. We'll see you Wednesday when we're going to be talking to Precious McKesson and Kimra Snipes. Put some respect on their names. They are leaders in our community in a big way, and love to hear from them and find out what's going on and what we can do to keep helping. Check out the legislature today for sure. Brother Justin Wayne has a bill that's going to be talked about today, and also that voter ID thing is happening today as well.
Man.
If you happen to be around Lincoln, then you might want to stop in for support or drive down if you have the day off. Check it out. You can always put notes in at the legislative site as well. So definitely check that out, and let's do what we can do to try to help some of this stuff and fight some of this stuff. That's what it's all about. So thank you for joining us again, and we'll see you Wednesday. You guys have a good one. Peace.
By the way, Vanglorious, this is protected by the Red